participate in it. I hate the work of them who turn aside from the right path. It shall not grasp hold of me. You do what you want to do. I'm not going to participate. You stay as long as you want to be. I'm not going to be there. I don't care if we used to do it together. The things I used to do, I don't do no more. And if it means we can't hang out no more, then doggone, we just can't hang out no more. Let me pause parenthetically to put this prodigiously perched pen in the midst of this pericope of scripture. Let me help you understand that when you make up your mind to do right, you ought to lose some friends. Some folk that don't feel comfortable around you, and there's some folk you don't feel comfortable around. Shall we continue? Verse 4 says, a perverse heart shall depart from me. I will know no evil person or thing. Here's verse 5. This is the message to some of us in here. Whoso privily slanders his neighbor, him will I cut off from me. Let me help you all understand. Gossip is the rehearsing and the receiving of information about a person who is not physically present at the time of the conversation. I'll say it again. Gossip is the rehearsing and the receiving of information pertaining to a person who is not physically present at the time of the conversation. In other words, whether you're telling it or listening to it, you're gossiping. Some of y'all know more about other folks' business than you know about your own. Can I help you with something? Your bills are behind, you ain't got time to talk about me. Your child got kicked out of school again, you ain't got time to talk about mine. If your marriage is on the rocks or you just got divorced, you ain't got no business talking about what's going on with me and my wife.
Help the church.
Can I ask a question? How the hell you gonna come to me and tell me who you saw at some place? I mean, well, if they ain't got no business being there, can I help? I mean, am I making sense to somebody here? Don't bring that to me. He says, and if that's what you're talking about, I will hang up the phone. If that's what you're talking about, I will show you the hand. If that's what you're talking about, I will cut you off. If you ain't got nothing good and positive to say, don't say nothing. Sit here, shut up, eat some pizza, and watch the game. I'm talking about the testimony of somebody who's made up in his mind to fear God. He who has a haughty look and a proud and arrogant heart, I cannot and I will not tolerate. If you better than everybody, that means you're better than me too. So you need to go find you some company that's more on your level. If you just impressed with yourself, what you need me for? You already got it. I don't need to compliment you. You already got it together. In fact, I'm honored that you're here, but I am not worthy to receive you. So you can walk your royal regal self right on out the door and let me find some folk like me who just trying to get it right. My eyes shall look with favor upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He who walks blamelessly, he shall minister to me. Now, if you notice, there's a transition here to the point where this could potentially be God talking now. But notice, the language of the man who started talking looks so much like the language of God. You can't tell if it's God talking or the guy talking. Man, you just missed that. If you fear God like you say you do, sooner or later you ought to start talking just like God. I didn't think it was going to shout up in here. I should have been hooping when I said that. I should have been standing on the pew right behind Sister Davis, right next to Edith, hollering and sweating when I said that, because that's what we miss. If you fear God, then you'll be so caught up in the ways of God that you'll start talking like God. Your way of expression will be godly. Your means of communicating will be God. The way you respond to external stimuli will represent the God you say you fear. Look at it. I look upon the faithful of the land, they'll dwell with me. He who walks blamelessly, he shall minister to me. If you fear God, you've got to surround yourself with other people who fear God. You have to. You have to. I'm not saying you can't be friends with your childhood friends, but what I'm saying is, at some point you got to get yourself away from folk who don't honor your God and find yourself some folk who do honor your God. That's why it's such a dangerous thing when you have churches that have church but have no fellowship. I'm a member of the church, but you have to understand, we're not trying to make you a member of the church. We're trying to get you into the fellowship of believers, because the fellowship of believers will hold you accountable to your Christian profession. You've got to have some folk in your circle who will give you a citation when you're out of order. 3 people you ought to have in your crew. You ought to have somebody who can give you a citation. Somebody who can pull you aside and say, now you know you got no business talking like that. You know that's out of order. Somebody who get on your nerve because they'll check you because you're not living what you're supposed to live. You got to have somebody to hold you accountable. That's the whole purpose of being in a brotherhood, in a sisterhood. You got some brothers around you. You got some sisters around you who will not let you fall. The old folk used to say, Lord, draw so close together that one can't fall for another. What that simply meant was, come here, Lady Cat, and come here. Well, you know what, that might be a bad example. Come here, Jamal, and come here, Mark, because if I fall, Neil might not be able to do a whole lot with it. Come here, let me show you that. Let me show you that, man. Neil will be there about, I'm in distress. Come on. When it talks about one not being able to fall for another, whether you line up across this way or front to back, McDonald, I wish I had a witness here. If I get weak, I can't fall to the right because Mark's strength is holding me up. I can't fall to the left because Jamal's strength is holding me up. If I'm about to abandon the way, I can't go because Mark and Jamal lock up with me and won't let me go. The idea is you got to have some folk around you who will stand on either side of you, and when you're going the wrong way, they'll get hold of you and say, hey man, come on, no, we don't do that here. You know better than that. Come on. Even if you fall, you got to have some people who will reach down, pick you up, and tell you your sin is forgiven. Go and sin no more. And I'm going to pray for you right now that you be strong enough to avoid